now have a quorum.
All right. Oh, you helped me out of that.
Well,
Whoa.
here I go. I didn't do a big mess.
Okay.
I'm trying to move on this stuff. Okay. So what do you want me to do?
Oh, I said, just help me out.
Okay,
I
whatever.
forgot how you did this time before that. I'm kidding, man, I'm kidding.
Yeah. All right, thank you. Come on. Paul.
All right, we'll call this is the, what, IROC meeting? Yeah, IROC meeting. Let's see. You have, I guess we need to start out with introductions. And
We have nobody from the public. We can start with
Yeah.
Ms. Murphy.
Oh,
Oh, sorry. Well, you don't count. You're for the next meeting, but, all right. All right, we can start. Okay.
okay, all right.
Deborah Murphy, Debbie Murphy, Cobra.
Paul Dumars, I'm with the Finance Committee here at the school board.
George Elmore.
Heather Frederick, I'm the Chief Financial Officer and the staff liaison for the IROC. We also have Ms. Antuna virtual, as well as Mr. Stanley Siegel.
Good morning. I'm
Good morning,
Leanne
Maria
Evans.
Antuna, CEO of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce of Palm Beach County.
I didn't get her name.
Good morning. I'm Leanne Evans, the treasurer
Okay,
with the
all
school
right.
district.
Kristen Varga Garcia, Office of the General Counsel.
Okay, all right, thank you. Public comments, no public comments, good, all right. We need the minutes from November 17th of '23.
No, should be April 26th. The minutes for April 26,
Well, I was-
2024. And then during that meeting, we approved the
Yeah,
November
go there.
minutes.
Okay, all right. Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the minutes of April 26.
Okay. Your second?
Second, yes.
Second, okay, all right. All in favor, signify aye. Okay, all right, thank you. Moving on.
So then the next item would be the annual report.
Annual report, okay.
So this is the last quarterly report for FY `24. We start at the top by looking at the total revenue that we collected from the 1 mil referendum was $282 million for district-operated schools, a total of $319 million. We also had carryover, so we had additional funds carried over from 2023, $25 million. So it was a total referendum revenue available was $351 million. Of that, 307 was for district-operated schools. If you look, the most significant portion of that funding is allocated to teacher supplements, as well as the teacher pay increase. So last year in FY24, we were able to give the highest increase to teachers that we've given in at least the last 25 years. And we were able to do that because of the additional funding that we had in the referendum. So it was an average increase of 7%. So a portion of that increase was allocated to the referendum. So that's on top of the supplements that they're receiving. So a little more than half of the funding is going to teacher supplements. Then we have approximately 25% of it is funding over 900 fine art teachers. So elementary art, music, PE, choice and career academy teachers. That represented approximately $80 million in expenses. And then we have a large mental health component. So approximately $20 million was spent on school behavioral health positions. We have one at every single school in the district, as well as additional supports of co-located mental health service providers. In addition to additional guidance counselors in middle schools. And then the CAPE team is a crisis response team. That's available to go directly out to schools when they have students that are in crisis and in need, and they help to support the schools assess the student and what is best and how to treat that student's needs. And then I wanted to welcome Miss Sherry Brown. She just joined us as well. And then the last component is security. So the referendum also funds supplemental security police officers for the schools. The general fund does pay for one police officer at every school. The referendum, which is the state mandate, but we use the referendum funds to fund any supplemental officers over and above that one officer per school. We also use these funds for additional school security hall monitors, I'd like to say, additional staff at the schools that help just provide just some, extra set of eyes on campus. And then we also allocate additional funding specifically to the schools for them to use for after hours of security. We fund the police officers for all their games, after hour games. All of the funding goes to help support that. This year, we also used the funding to pay for the metal detectors at all the high schools. And we also added additional funding for staff to help oversee that process with the metal detectors. So that was phased out over the year, and it was very successful. And so we had a very smooth opening of the schools this year,
Yeah.
which,
Yeah.
yes, and I know Broward County faced their challenges with, they did not choose to phase in their metal detectors like we did over the last year, and they just went and implemented them across, I believe, all high schools immediately. But we had a very smooth opening because we did phase it in over the last year. So this additional funding has been extremely beneficial to the district and the students with all the additional supports that we've been able to provide. So the total recurring costs was about $285 million. So that is a little bit more than the amount of recurring revenue that we collected, because the recurring revenue we collected was $282 million. And then we had that carryover of $25 million. So we did start to slightly eat into those carryover funds. We do have a plan for those carryover dollars. And I did report to the committee, approximately $15 million is being set aside to replace radios at all the school sites. We were initially hopeful that that would be implemented in 1 year, but of course, with a district our size, we realized it's better to phase it in, and they're doing a little more research. The school police department is doing a little more research as to which radios will work best at which school sites. And so it's school police radios, but the majority of these radios are the radios used by the actual staff at the school sites. And so that's why the cost is so much. So there is a need to replace all of those, but it is going to be now phased in over a 3-year time period. So those funds are set aside specifically for that purpose. And then we also set aside $3 million to replenish school police vehicles. So that's the other portion of the carry forward that's set aside. And right now we have a little over $4 million that's unallocated. And so I'll continue to bring that back to the committee once we decide how those funds will be spent. So it will be in the categories of security, mental health, fine arts, or the teacher supplements. So in total, that gives an overview of where we stand. So we didn't expend all the funds. We did slightly reduce the carry forward, but we have a plan as to how those funds will be spent. That's it.
Quick question.
Yes.
The security officer for every school, is that from your own security system, or is it outside sheriffs and?
Primarily, they are school district police officers. We do have enough school district police officers for one for every school site, but we do use and supplement with the sheriff as well as municipalities as we continue to build up our police department, because we still need to have a pool of officers available, because if there's an officer that's out, we need to make sure that we can replace them. Our goal is to have one officer at every school that is our district police officer. But Chief Mooney believes that it's important to keep just to have the continued support and interaction with the sheriff and the municipal police departments to continue that relationship with them so that, God forbid there ever is an issue, they are familiar with our school site. So even once we are fully staffed with school police officers, we made it a tremendous improvement in the number of officers we hired because we added this year year-round officers. Initially, our officer positions were just 10-month, so they along the same line as the school sites. And so it created some challenges when we were trying to recruit because even though we were paying a higher hourly rate, every officer was going to have to take a pay cut to come here because they weren't working a full year. So now we provide the option each year for them to decide whether they want to work year-round or 10-month, because not every officer wants to work year-round. We do have a lot that have retired to Florida, and they're happy with the 10-month schedule. So we now provide them the option once a year for them to elect whether it's year-round or 10 months. And so the referendum dollars have also helped to pay for that, increase, because that did result in a significant increase in the pay, but has also helped with us as a recruiting tool to attract more officers to our school district.
Do you have an agreement with either the sheriff or the local as far as the rate you pay?
We do. So we have an agreement with the sheriff and the municipalities, and they're all different, of course.
Yeah, that's
But we do have agreements with each of them. And so they actually went to the board, I would say 2 months ago. So those are renewed annually.
Okay.
And so mainly those are paid based on overtime rates.
Okay. Hey, yeah, go ahead, Deborah.
You hear an awful lot about how Florida's teachers are paid at the lowest levels of the states. And I'm wondering, how does this referendum, the additional pay that they get, how does that help? Where they end up being in the ranking based on, compared to other states?
The last time I did that analysis, it brought us up into the 30s. Right now, we're at the low end. When you look at our beginning teacher pay, we are at the higher end because the governor made an effort to put a lot of funding in increasing beginning teacher pay. So now all districts are required to have their teachers at a minimum of $47,500. There are some school districts across the state that are not yet up to the $47,500. But when you put a significant amount of money into raising the beginning teacher salary, it created a lot of what we call compression, because you had beginning teachers making a very similar amount for teachers that have 7 years of experience. And so the referendum helped to give us some differentiation we have supplements, and based on years of experience, they receive, if they're over 10 years of experience, a $10,000 supplement, 5 to 10 years, a $5,000 supplement, and 1 to 5 years, a $1,000 supplement. So that did help to relieve somewhat that compression. And then this year, by us providing a 7% increase, which, like I said, was the highest increase we've given in at least the last 25 years, that's somewhat helping. But until we can have more of a cash infusion of funds to address salary as well as just regular general increases, it makes it, more difficult. The governor mentioned recently that he's invested $1.2 billion in teacher pay. So he's invested $1.2 billion in teacher pay over the past, I would say, 4 years. Over that exact same time period, we also had the expansion of the voucher program, and they've invested nearly $3 billion in vouchers. So if they would have taken that money that they put within the voucher program and invested that within teacher pay, we would be able to give our teachers a nearly 20% increase. And so yes, the governor has invested in teacher pay, but he's invested more in the voucher program. And not that saying that we're not appreciative of the funding, but it goes to your point, it's very expensive to live here, and that's been our challenge. And when you create a standard across the state, it's much more expensive to live in Palm Beach County than it is in another district, yet a lot of our pay is very similar. So it has been a challenge. Our HR department, though, has been working hard, being very creative and growing our own. So we have a lot of programs where we now have individuals who, substitutes and other jobs within the district that want to be a teacher, that they're now working in a program where they get on-the-job training while they're also going through their degree at the same time to become a certified teacher. So we piloted that program last year, and we're looking to, expand that because we have to do something different in order to be able to reduce the vacancies. But where we are right now, especially with the sunsetting of those federal ESSER dollars, those positions we had funded, which were a lot of coach positions using those federal dollars, now that we hopefully built capacity with that funding, with helping to train the teachers, a lot of those positions are moving back into the vacant teacher positions. So it's significantly reducing our vacancies this year. So sorry, that was a long answer. We're working hard.
It was interesting, though. That was good. Thank you.
We're working hard, and yes, we need more money. There's a lot to say. We need more. We need more to be able to attract and retain high-quality teachers.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, we're good.
Okay. Need a motion to approve?
Yes, we do.
Thank you.
I move that we
All right.
approve the annual report as presented.
Okay. Second?
Second?
Second, all right. All in favor, signify aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. You got it.
All
You
right.
got it.
All right, thank you. And then our next meeting is November 8th. So hopefully that works well for
Okay.
everybody.
So if I'm here,
Will you
it's my birthday, November 8th.
It's, yeah, oh.
Disappointing.
All right, we will keep that in mind. Do you have any?
Please.
All right.
That's it.
That's it?
That's
All
it.
right. All right. Well, and completes our work for today in this committee. We're quick.
Yep. All right.
You good, a good job, too.
Yes,
All
very
right,
Heather, really,
All
there's a
right.
lot to keep up
Yes.
with.
yeah.
Okay. All
All
right,
right,
good.
well, thank you, everybody, for attending, and I know that there are some of you that are here also for the ISOC meeting, so if you're on virtually and you're also on the ISOC meeting, make sure to log off and then log back on to the ISOC meeting. All right, thank you.
10 minutes.
Thank you.